Good morning. My name is Karen Love, and I am the Executive Director of the Dementia Action Alliance, and I welcome and thank you all for being here this morning. It's an exciting morning for the Dementia Action Alliance as we are releasing our toolkit about living with dementia. One is a handbook for people who have dementia symptoms. One is a handbook for families. And it's chock full of insights, quotes, even artwork by people living with dementia, which is a whole different narrative than what we normally kind of think about. And conversation cards, how to get conversations going, and a terrific DVD that was produced and created. We worked with a former National Geographic filmmaker. Florida is ground zero for dementia. It probably is no surprise that it's the state that has the highest number of people, 500,000 individuals, and that number will increase as the baby boom generation ages. So we have an opportunity here in Florida. You have the Dementia Care and Cure initiative. You already have some important things underway. And you can change the narrative, the discussion from that of being dementia tragedy to the dialogue and discussion and conversation about dementia enlightenment and living proactively with what turns out to be a long-term condition.
If it's not the number one, it certainly is one of the most expensive diseases in America, with an estimated cost of $236 billion in 2016. By mid-century, the number of people with the disease is estimated to nearly triple what it currently is. This could increase the cost to this nation to $1.1 trillion, 4 times its current level. Westminster Oaks is proud to partner with this plan by helping support the Caring Conversation Toolkit project and providing 2 support groups a month at Westminster Oaks, teaching the powerful tools for a caregiver's education program, hosting forums for Alzheimer's and caregivers, and providing 2 special memory disorder programs in neighborhoods at Westminster Oaks, one of them being in our assisted living program and one in our Bertrand Health Center. We're also currently planning for a new freestanding specialized memory disorder building on the campus of Westminster Oaks, which will utilize state-of-the-art treatment modalities and special structure.
I'm here to talk about a change. And when I say change, I mean a positive change. A change that will take the dementia conversation from being a patient or a sufferer to a person living as well as they possibly can with a dementia-related illness. As was mentioned before, I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease back in 2014. I'm 4th generation of having the disease. But I don't allow it to define who I am. I never have. Individuals that are living with dementia are stigmatized. And that's a huge issue in the dementia world. Just because we have a disease of the brain, it doesn't mean that we cease to laugh or that we can no longer take part in conversations or don't look forward to phone calls, emails, having coffee, or anything that we did before our diagnosis. Our diagnosis changed things, but it doesn't necessarily mean it changes things for the worse. Yes, it's a horrible disease to live with and it's tough, but you have a choice. You make that decision every day when you wake up. You can stay in bed and have a pity party, or you can get up and make a difference. Now, do I have pity parties? Every once in a while. But when you realize that you're the only person that was invited to that party, it gets kind of boring. So you get up and you make a difference. Just don't think that just having a disease like this is the end of all. It's not. In some ways, it's the beginning. I look forward to working with the organizations that I'm very proud to be with to make changes, to make hope for the future, and to make hope for future generations.
Local efforts of the Area Agency on Aging, in coordination with the North Florida Senior Citizens Network, brought together organizations providing respite and other supportive services to care partners in Leon and the surrounding 13 counties back in 2015. Our purpose was to identify opportunities to better address the interests and needs of individuals living with dementia. We believe that our partnership with the Dementia Action Alliance's Caring Conversations project has provided us with valuable tools which can assist us in engaging individuals living with dementia in conversation about what's important to them. We look forward to sharing these tools throughout the Tallahassee-Leon community, as well as our surrounding 13 counties that are represented by the Area Agency on Aging.
Alzheimer's and dementia is a funny thing in that we really don't talk about it. We just don't. You know, we all have family members, we have friends, all of us. It's interesting, you know, you bring it up and nobody really wants to have that conversation, but then you say, do you know somebody? And yes, they do. But we don't talk about it. And the other thing is most of us really don't know how to talk with someone that has dementia, which makes it very difficult for the person suffering from it, because then they do retreat and they tend to stay around their home, and then they tend to stay inside their bedroom, and we lose them far quicker than we should. And so this initiative is extremely valuable for anybody that takes the time to read it, takes the time to utilize it. We're going to be producing videos that are, instead of in-person training, they'd be training for example, new employees that we can't bring into a centralized setting, but they could go online and they could watch that. But we're going to make those available so that any municipality or county or village or town or whomever around the state can utilize them also. We want to focus on Tallahassee-Leon County, but while we're doing that, we unfortunately have the capability to produce some material that can be used elsewhere. Our fastest growing population, age demographic, is that older population. That's what's happening here. The state, the city, the country. It's something we have to be aware of. This initiative, this toolkit, because I've read it, it's great. Something to learn for all of us. So I urge you to get a copy, and Karen's gonna talk about how that's available, to learn more about this, because we all know someone. And as my wife says, pay it forward, because someday that might be us.
The entire toolkit is for sale on our website, which is daanow.org.